Hey guys, welcome to my channel Pharmacy with Preeti. Before starting with the topic, I just wanted to ask you a question. Have you guys ever come across with the purchase of certain chronic medications on which the abbreviation CR and SR is mentioned on the label pack? Have you ever wondered what does it mean? So in this video, I will be explaining you what is CR and SR formulation and what is the main difference between them. So, before going into the topic, let me introduce let me give some introduction about the topic. So, in the market, there are n number of medications, right? And most of the medicines are IR. IR stands for immediate release tablet, meaning after administration, it will show its action immediately within 2 to 3 hours, and within 2 to 3 hours after the intake of medicines, the drug plasma concentration level decreases, which makes the patient to take the second dosing. This is the major drawback of the immediate release formulation, especially for those patients who are on chronic medications such as diabetes, the person who is suffering from sugar, BP, and asthma. Due to the increase in the frequency of medications and continuous intake of medications at a regular interval, there is a high chances of side effects, and plus it is non-compliance with the patients also. So, in order to overcome the drawback associated with the immediate release tablet, the tablets are modified in such a manner, in such a way that its release rate can be controlled. Now, again, you might have a question that how these drugs are modified. Let me tell you that there are various mechanisms by which the release rate of a drug can be controlled, and the detailed video of it I will share it on my upcoming videos. So let's get into the topic. CR stands for controlled release formulations, SR stands for sustained release formulations. The controlled release system maintains the constant release of a drug, whereas the sustained release systems maintain the slow release of a drug. The controlled release formulation follows a zero order kinetics, whereas SR formulations follows the first order kinetics. Let me explain you with an example. Let's consider the controlled release formulation. Okay, let's consider an example that if there is a patient, okay, the patient have administered 100. So let's consider an example. If there is a patient who have administered 100 mg of tablet, okay, in case of CR release I am talking about, in a patient who have administered 100 mg tablet, after 1 hour, if we will check the plasma concentration of a drug of that patient, we will find 50 mg of the drug will remain in its plasma. And again after 1 hour, if we will check, we will find that there will be no more traces of the drug will remain. It indicates that initial 1 hour there is 50% of release, after 1 hour again there is 50% of release, meaning the release rate of a drug is constant. As the time increases, the release of a drug is constant. Whereas in case of sustained release formulation, again consider there is a patient who have intake 100 mg of tablet. After 1 hour, if we will check the plasma levels of drug plasma levels, we will find 50 mg of a drug will remain in the body. Again after 1 hour, if we will check the plasma levels, okay, we will find that now the concentration of the drug which is remaining in the plasma is 25 mg. Okay, it is now 25 mg. Initially the person have intake 100 mg. After 1 hour we found it is 50 mg. Again after 1 hour, if we will check the plasma levels, we have find 25 mg. Again after 1 hour, if we will check the plasma levels, now we will find 12.5 mg of the drug will remain in the plasma. So you can see, you can like observe that in case of SR formulations, as the time increases, okay, as the time increases, the release of a drug is slow or it gets lowered. Initially the person have intake 100 mg tablet. After 1 hour it becomes 50 mg. Again after 1 hour it becomes 25 mg. Again after 1 hour it becomes 12.5 mg. Again after 1 hour, if we will see, it will be around 6.25 mg. So I hope you have understood what is the major difference between the controlled release and the sustained release formulation. In case of controlled release, as the time increases, the release of a drug will remain constant. There will be no changes in the release rate. Whereas in case of sustained release formulation, as the time increases, the release of the drug gets lowered. The rate of release of the drug will get lowered. Now let's see the third point. Controlled release formulation maintains a constant drug plasma level. Yes, I have just given you an example. In case of SR formulation, it does not maintain a constant drug plasma levels. Okay. Now the controlled release formulation. In case of controlled release formulation, we can promote the localized effect of a drug at a targeted site, whereas in case of SR formulation there is no such mechanism by which we can be able to promote the targeted effect. The release of a drug is constant in case of controlled release formulation at a predetermined time. In case of SR formulation, please note, in case of SR formulation, since the release of a drug is slow as the time increases, therefore these SR formulations are prepared in 2 doses. First is initial dose, also referred to as loading dose, which in order to this initial dose is usually higher in order to attain that minimum therapeutic effect. In order to attain the minimum therapeutic range, the initial dose or the loading dose is always kept higher in case of SR formulation, whereas the maintenance dose will maintain the continuity in that. By slowly releasing the drug, it will maintain the continuity of the release rate of a drug within the therapeutic range. The rate of release of the drug will remain constant. It does not depends upon the concentration. Okay, it is designed in such a manner that the release rate of a drug will remain constant. Whereas in case of sustained release formulation, the rate of release of the drug decreases with the decrease in the concentration. Okay, the release rate of a drug decreases with the decrease in the concentration. Let's have a look on the graph. The one which is shown in a form of peak, that trough and crust form, it is the graph for immediate release tablet. So immediate release tablet, once it is administered, it shows as its action within 2 to 3 hours, and again there is a need to take the another dose. So this peak will go on continuing. So in order to overcome this drawback, this type of novel drug delivery system, this controlled release and sustained release comes under the novel release of a drug. Now let's have a look on the graph of zero order release. Zero order release is controlled release. So you can see a plateau stage is obtained. Okay, it does not depends on the concentration remaining. The controlled release formulation will release at a constant manner, irrespective of the concentration remaining. Whereas you can see the sustained release, initially there is a shoot up. This shoot up is because of the loading dose. The loading dose, since this is a higher dose, in order to attain the therapeutic range, so this loading dose is kept always higher, followed by the maintenance dose. So you can see there is a slight curve. This curve is because as the time passes by, the release of a drug gets lowered. Okay, the release of a drug gets lowered. That's all. Thank you.